Hey guys, it's Mythic Spark with the three cringy assholes. And I'm going to be reading you a story from Furaffinity. One of the cringiest sites for stories. So I hope you sit back and enjoy the shit show. This story is called Death Rising by Betray Cover. This is just his intro. Death Rising Part 1. The Hatchling. Tetron! A young hatchling heard. His little head poked out of the tall green grass that surrounded him. His lime green frills were still growing between his small metallic colored spikes that ran down his head and neck. To the sides, he had one horn on each side, just the same color as his spikes. Between those ears, beneath those, his ears were located. His body was covered with coal-black shiny scales, with blood-red markings on his head, neck, legs, and tail. On the tip of his back nuzzle a horn of metal was placed. At the point where his ring fingers join his ring arm, three claws were reaching out like spikes. The underside of his ring membrane was the same green as his frills, while the top of the membranes were black with a ridge with a red edge. Sorry guys, I often say words that I'm reading. Sadly for Tetron, he could not fly yet. His wings were not strong enough. But all his friends could fly because he was the only one of his nesting period. A big drought and scarcity on food made him the only survivor of the period. So all his friends were 1 year older than him. When all the other hatchlings went for flying lessons, Tetron would get hunting lessons, something which was unorthodox in his tribe. The normal teaching ways were first flying, then hunting, but his parents never agreed on that. They were more feral of education. They always prepared Tetron for the situations where he wouldn't have a luxury or broke something. His parents looked down onto the ones that never taught their younglings to hunt without wings. How would they manage if they crushed or broke their wings? No, Tetron must learn everything about hunting. Also how other animals hunt. It made Tetron more aware of his surroundings, and even when some other much older children failed hunting, Tetron would Tetron somehow could kill a few small mammals. The young hunting training also meant that Tetron was getting muscular with long muscles that made him excellent for long-running companions. While other hatchlings run past Tetron on the first lap, they were tired in the second, and Tetron would still last for a few more. In order to make Tetron not too muscular on his body, which could result in inability to fly, he was forced to do wing pull-ups 3 times a day to strengthen his muscles. But all that training, but all this training didn't help to catch a simple little creature which caught Tetron's interest, a butterfly. It annoyed him that such a small creature could outrun his claws. He chased it for some minutes until a big dark shade was cast on Tetron. He knew who that was. It was the biggest dragon in the facility. Fell, smart, an excellent hunter, and Tetron! Oh, here you are. I've been searching for you for ages. And it was his mother. Let me scroll down a little bit. The black dragoness had been trying to find her hatchling all morning. Her mate was gone for the daily hunt, and Tetron has so much energy she never could quite keep up with him. Even more so because she was pregnant. It was only a few weeks that it was visible, but it was draining a lot of her energy. It was not unknown to Tetron how eggs were made because his parents told him after he looked how eggs were made. They just didn't tell the details. Many parents would lie about eggs coming from other places and such. But that was just silly according to Tetron's parents. Lying would not help when he got in the situation where he met a dragoness in heat for the first time. That's kind of gross. Why would someone want to write something like that? Oh, man, I am hunting, he protested against his mother's appearance. That interrupted his hunt and made the butterfly flee. I know my big hunter, she nuzzled her son on the head. But even great hunters must break to read. As soon as Tetron heard the words of food, he stopped with whatever he was doing and went to the meal. Meat! Tetron squalled and jumped on his mother's back and sprawled out. Tetron! He was woken by a female voice that jumped on him. Wake up, sleepyhead! The female licked his jaws. It was Ridger. A few years had passed on, and Tetron had grown a little. Thanks to his mother's genes, he was one of the biggest hatchlings of the pride. He did get a lot attention by the other female hatchlings, but sadly it was time for most to get a mate, and today was Ridger's turn. Ridger knew who she needed to take, the one who always made her laugh, Tetron. But her parents said she needed to take Furton, the elder twin. They did not tell her why, and she hated every fiber of Tetron. She was planning not to listen to her parents and take Tetron, no matter how much her parents would hate her. Tetron stretched his body. He hated it when she woke him up like this. For him, sleep was divine. What? Tetron said, a bit sleepy, because he was a year younger and he wasn't told that the dragonesses would select their mate today, and he was only to watch. He was not allowed to take part in the tradition, however. It was not prohibited to be selected as a mate. It's the big day, Ridger swatted him. I must select a mate today. She was excited as she was almost sure that Tetron knew that, and she hoped he was allowed to take part in the ritual. Um, I did not know that. Tetron took some time to choice his words. Why didn't they tell me? This made Ridger somehow sad, which Tetron did not understand. But Ridger knew that it might be possible when they be impossible then to select Tetron as mate, which was that she must take Furto. Come with me anyways, she said in a ordering tone. But who do you want to be mated with? Tetron tilted his head as he got ready to leave the cave for the ritual grounds. We'll see. After a few minutes walk, during which Ridger remained silent about her plans, and Tetron trying as curious as he is to get more information, they arrived. The Ridger was the first to go. A big brown dragon started the ceremony and lined up the males, which Tetron was not part of. Ridger, these males will try to impress you. Do you have any wish before they start, or do you have a new candidate? Bridger smiled and nodded. Elder, I have an extra candidate. Everyone knew that a candidate selected by the female herself become the mate of that female in 80% of all causes. I want Tetron to be part of the selection. As soon as he pronounced the name Tetron, a wave of unrest flushed over the crowd that was watching. Even Tetron was a bit shocked. You must understand that is not possible, Tetron is. Ridger interrupted. Is not old enough to be a candidate? Unless he is invited to be one. She smiled and I just invited him. The brown dragon turned his head to the fellow elders to see what they thought. Then he turned back. Tetron, can you step forward, please? Tetron felt shy. Everyone was looking at him. And the tribe leader was hold on, looking at him really angry, but he was safe. At least he hoped so. The elders spoke as soon as Tetron lined up. Tetron, you have been invited to take part in this election. Do you wish to enter? Tetron looked around and looked at Ridger for a good minute. She looked at him almost beggingly. Somewhere in Tetron it hit his feelings. I do want to enter, Tetron said as he processed his feelings. So be it, the Elden spoke. Each of you only have one chance to impress Ridger to be your mate. We start with the highest ranking. Third toe, you can start, but and start pet Fertro he did he sorry Fed Ferto did. He pulled off a display of flying skills, and after him more dragons did. It was beautiful, but neither Tetron nor Richard was impressed. Tetron wondered why everyone did the same while Richard only had eyes for one dragon, which was Tetron. Tetron, can you step forward and show your act? Tetron was shocked. Most guys had more personal. Oh, I'm sorry. The lines are a bit too small. Tetron was shocked. Most guys had spent weeks on. Sorry. Most guys had spent weeks to their act. Tetron had to make one from scratch. Suddenly he got a plan, which was not flying but more personal. He darted of sorry. But was not flying but more personal. He darted to find the needed metal. The elders looked at him running away, and Richard looked sad. It seems that Tetron fled in instant fled instant of his act. Richard, choose your mate. Richard did not believe what Tetron did. He left her out in the cold. She took as much time as possible, but when she was pushed to choose a candidate, Tetron came back with a few lumps of metal. It was just normal steel, but Tetron's idea was to make a colored horn ring from it. And by adding colored materials to the metal, I am ready for my act, he said proud. After some agreeing between the elders, they gave him the go-ahead. So Tetron started to heat the metal with his flames and bent it with bare claws. It took until dusk that he was finished. The ring matched Ridge's horn, as well as her scales, that it was not screaming for attention, but still not unnoticed until she wore it. It was impressive to see Tetron work, and it was surely unique. Richard knew this was the one. Richard, choose your mate, the drowned elder, the brown elder said. But when Richard wanted to speak out Tetron's name, there was a distant war heard. Then it came closer, closer, and closer until they saw a small group of green dragons enter the valley. Their intention was clear when they spit fire at the group. Immediately, everyone started to run. The pregnant ones and the children were escorted away. Those fit for fight stayed to fight. Tetron wanted to fight and protect too, but he was dragged away inside the cave. The roars of battle were coming closer and closer. Then his father appeared in the cave entry. We are losing. Get away, he warned them, but it was too late. He had got hit with a blast of fire and was thrown against the cave wall. Tetron's mother went to save her mate, but she was met by a green dragon that charged her neck. It was brutal. Hatchlings were hiding in the corners, seeing their parents being slaughtered. Tetron's mother was bleeding heavily as she somehow managed to reach him. Be strong, my son. She coughed blood. This were this was her last words. Her heart stopped from the loss of blood. Tetron could do nothing but watch how his mother died. He screamed for help, but it was no use. His dad was the last fighting dragon. He got his head ripped off by the dragon, sending a wave of blood into the cave, coating the hatchlings with it. Daddy! Tetron screamed, crying. Richard ran to Tetron to help him escape, but it was but it made her visible for the dragons. Tetron! She screamed, but it was too late. When Tetron turned his head, he saw Rigid being crushed by one of the dragons. Her belly exploded, sending her guts over the ground. Where the flowing guts were flowing over the room. Tetron was in shock. He did not understand what was happening. It was a surreal situation. In half an hour, he lost his parents, friends, his tribe to those dragons. In a last attempt to survive, Tetron curled against his dead mother, hoping she would protect him, and she did. Her blood masked Tetron's scent, and her black body made Tetron almost impossible to spot. After the dragons had their fun, they left the cave, leaving the bodies of the dragons ripped open, leaving the crushed eggs, leaving their victory, and leaving Tetron. Well, that's the end of our Jimmy story. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Don't forget to leave a like down below and subscribe to my and come over and look at my channel if you want. I do gaming videos. The link will be down below in the description, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Have fun, guys.